All right, welcome to the animal line drawing assignment. So if you head over to Google Classroom, Mrs. Johnson's Fine Arts class, you'll find the assignment here. Step 1, open all 4 tabs, okay? So right now there's only 3 because I don't have the video up, but when you go to Google Classroom, you will see a 4th tab here that has this video. So open all these tabs up, and if you look up here, I already have these tabs open, and they're going to be really handy because you're going to flip back and forth between them. Okay, so this first one is your assignment that you're going to be working on. This one is the step-by-step instructions. So it's a slideshow that has walks you through the process. And then this digital formatting skills is a website, and it has quick little videos on how to do different skills that you are going to need for this project. So if you run into a problem, you know how to order something, how to group something, how to modify. These are all skills that you are going to be using in this project. Look here first, okay? Before you ask me. Step 1, look at this website. Step 2, ask a friend. Step 3, ask your teacher, okay? So let's go to the actual project. All right. So for this project, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be changing a photograph into a digital line drawing. So it's a really cool project. I hope you have a lot of fun with it. It is very time consuming, so be patient. All right. That's number 1 skill you're going to need is patience. Okay. So step 1, find an image. So you want a picture where the animal is face on. And here's a tip, choose a face that is symmetrical. So this llama, you could do it, but it's going to be trickier because it's not symmetrical. If you look at the rest of these faces, you could divide a line right down the middle, and it's the same on the left side and the right side. Okay, so step 1, find an image. I picked this giraffe. You can go on the internet, you can find any pictures you want of animals that are face on. Okay. Step 2, you are going to outline your animal with a polyline. Okay. So if I move this out of the way, your tool that you are going to use the most for sure is this line, polyline. Okay. It allows you to sketch around the animal. So every time I click down, it kind of anchors that point. It's kind of like a spider web that touches down and anchors that point. I'm going to outline all the way around my animal. I'm going quickly. You'll go in a lot more detail than I am. Okay, touching down, touching down, touching down, going around. Okay, now the thing about a polyline is you always have to go back to where you started. So if I stop right here, it will not fill in. But if I go around and I go back to where I started, it will fill in. Okay, so that's your step 1, is to trace around your image with the polyline. And then I personally colored my my shape black, just to give it a lot of contrast to the shapes that I'm putting on top of it. Okay, when you have your shape, then you can move your image off to the side, and you can even crop it if you want. And what you're going to do with your image now is just have it as a reference. So you're just going to keep kind of looking back on it, but your main part where you'll be working now is on your shadow. Okay. So your next step then is going to be to add your shapes onto your object. Okay. If you take a look at this slide, I've included this slide so you can just get some ideas of different styles of shapes. Okay. Now, when you look at these shapes, you can tell they didn't just throw random shapes all over the place. They looked, for example, here at the eyes, and they put shapes around the eyes. They made the shape of the nose over here on the wolf. They made the shape of the ears over here. Okay. So they're really intentional. The shapes, the geometric shapes on this eagle actually look like the feathers. So they're not a bunch of just random shapes. The artist is putting some thought into it. Okay. So what you're going to do, number 1, is you're definitely going to want to zoom in. All right. So you're going to zoom right in, and then you're going to use your polyline again, okay? And you're going to create shapes. So I might just kind of go like this. Remember, you have to go back to the beginning again, okay? Create another polyline shape. Click, click, click. When I go back to the beginning, it'll fill in, okay? Now just go slowly and carefully, and it will take a while, but it's worth the effort if you go slowly and carefully, okay? Now here's a little tip. Pay attention to the shapes and colors of your photo. So when I'm working on my giraffe, I'm going to pay attention to the fact that the nose is kind of a separate shape in a way because it's a little bit darker. And then there's this kind of long shape to its nose. So I'm going to want to put one shape going all the way down its nose here. Okay. Now, another thing that's going to be really important is to make your animal's face symmetrical. Okay. So if you take a look here, this is my mostly finished giraffe. Okay. I can move this shadow out of the design now. I only did half of its face. And the reason why is because I'm going to finish this half of its face, and then I'm going to copy, paste, and flip it horizontally so that the other side of its face is symmetrical. It's also a lot less work for me. All right. So you only need to do one half of the face. You can decide if you want to do the left side or the right side. It does not matter. You just want to do one side of the face. Okay. Here's where you can kind of see what's happening here. All right. Now, step 4, add color. So this is a really fun step. Okay. So what you're going to do is you need your colors to be monochromatic, which means you pick a color and then you do different shades of that color. Okay. This eye is blue just because I wanted it to stand out when I was doing the designing, but I do not want it to be blue in the end. So I'm going to turn it black. Okay. Now I'm probably going to want kind of shades of brown, right? So I'm going to go over here to the bucket. Okay. I have a bunch of shades of brown because I did this already, but what you can do is you can go to custom and you can grab a color from here. Okay. Or the other thing that you can do, which is a really, really great tool that is new to Google, is you can use the eyedropper. So you go to the bucket, go to the eyedropper, okay, and then scroll over to your photograph, okay, and what it does is it picks a color that matches your photograph, okay. So once you have that one color, then you can just do different shades of that same color. So I'm going to go plus here, and any color on this page is going to work really well. Okay. Now, the other tool that's going to be really, really handy is the paint roller. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick one of your colors, and then you're going to go over here to the paint format. You're going to click 2 times. And whatever you touch with your paint roller will turn that color. Okay. It doesn't really matter what parts you color what color, except that you don't want 2 right beside each other. So we don't want this here. So I'm going to undo one. Okay. So you just go around touching your pieces. Okay. Now to get out of this mode, I'm going to hit escape. Okay. Now I want a color that's kind of like maybe a little bit darker than this color. So I'm going to click on one that I already have. I'm going to go to the paint bucket, go to plus, and I'm going to kind of move it. Oh, there. Okay. Now I'm going to double click on my paint format, and I'm going to click a few to be that color. Okay. You probably want maybe 4 shades of similar colors. Okay. So just go through and do all of your shapes that way. Okay. Again, hit escape to get out of the paint mode. Okay. So that is adding color. So here is my giraffe with the color. Okay. Step 5, clean up the edges. So for this one, I really want to zoom in. Okay. So as you can see, there's all these spaces here, which I don't like. So what you can do is you can double click on a shape. I'm going to click 2 times, and you see these purple dots that show up? Those are stretch dots. Okay. So I can double click on an object and then just stretch it to fit better. All right. I do not want these jagged edges, or whoops, I don't want the jagged edges and I don't want the spaces. So I'm going to double click, and every corner has a little spot that you can drag. Okay, so go through and clean up all of your rough edges so there aren't any of these jaggedy edges like this. Double click, okay, and fill up these spaces. Zoom it in really tight so that you can clean those edges up. Okay, now next step is copy and paste and flip the face. Okay, so I went from here to here. Okay, and what I did was I'm going to zoom in so that you can see this. Okay, I grabbed as much as the face as I could without getting the neck, because I'm not going to copy paste the neck because it doesn't have 2 necks. Okay, so if you look carefully, you can see all these shapes are selected in blue. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold my control key down and I'm going to grab the rest of the shapes. If you miss a shape or 2, it's not a big deal. You just have to move them over later. Okay, I think all of my objects have a blue outline on them. All right, now I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to go right click, copy, right click, paste. Okay, now you can see I have 2 faces. Oh, I missed the eye. That's okay, I can get that later. Now I'm going to go arrange, rotate, flip horizontally. And that is going to give, oh, I let go. That's okay. I'll re-grab it. That's going to give me, now I'm going to use my arrow keys to get it to match up perfectly. Okay. One other cool tip is if you hold the shift key down, you can move it just a tiny little bit. Okay. So I'm going to move that. Oh, I grabbed the tip thing as well. Okay. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to make sure that I got all the pieces. I missed this nose piece here and I missed the eye piece. So I'm going to make sure that I get all those pieces. Okay. So copy, paste, flip the face. All right. Now my final step is to adjust the final design and add a background. All right. Now, if you take a look over here, this was my final giraffe right here. And I kind of didn't like the shape of the face. What I did was I went back to my original giraffe and I pasted it here and I looked at this and I said, where did I go wrong? Why doesn't this look right? So what I did was I adjusted it a little bit. I got rid of some of the shapes on the horns to make them look a little bit more horn-like. And then another thing that I did was I grabbed the face and I made it more narrow because I thought it would look better if it was longer and narrower because a giraffe looks that way. I also looked at these 2 cheek pieces and I just didn't like the looks of them, so I got rid of them. Okay, so that's how I came up with this little V shape here. I thought that looked a little bit more realistic. So don't be afraid to go back and get your photo, put it here and see if you're happy with your design. Okay, you can put whatever you want on the background. I just chose black because I thought it really popped out. Okay, so enjoy your project. I hope you have a lot of fun with it. Again, have these tabs open so that you can refer to all of these how-to videos. You can refer to my this description right here, and then you can also refer to this PowerPoint that goes through step by step. Good luck. I can't wait to see your designs.